So it's sort of like, when you're climbing the mountain, look down and go, wow, look how far I've come.
Yeah, high-fiving yourself along the way. That's right. And then going on.
Yep. And if you just so happen to be climbing the mountain and you trip, you fall over and you need to sit down for a little bit, you look down and go, wow, I've come so far.
Welcome to Marketing with Vino, the edutainment business growth podcast, mixing education and entertainment to make growing your service business much more fun. Your hosts, Quinton Venter, online marketing expert, and Gabby Kowalski, creator of the Business Freedom Formula, have a glass of wine and share powerful and up-to-date strategies to help grow your service business fast.
Hey guys, another amazing episode of Marketing with Vino. Joining us is the most ever amazing Gabs. Welcome, Gabs.
Hey, gorgeous Quinton. Hello, sexy people. It is awesome to be chatting. We actually, Quinton and I missed last week's podcast, so we're going to do a few this week for you, and it was just sad to miss last week's chat. So
it was, yeah.
super pumped to be chatting with Quinton and all of you guys today, and we've got some awesome stuff to share with you.
But first, Gabs, how is your health going with non-vino?
So if you've been tuning in, I've been having a alcohol-free August. And awesome, actually. Like, the truth of the matter is, it's nice to not have any hangovers whatsoever. So I'm currently sporting my water, which is lovely. What are you drinking? Because Quinton's, taking one for the team, and he's drinking for both of us today.
Well, I got to take one for the team because when I was in Italy and I didn't want to drink at 11 o'clock in the morning, you were suffering. So
that's right.
I've got a beautiful Malbec from Argentina. It's just a beautiful wine. I've started to enjoy the region. Actually, Taylor's has released another Malbec as well. So beautiful that we get to are sponsored by Taylor's. So more Malbecs for us.
Yay! I love it.
So yeah, it's a beautiful red for today.
Nice and calm. When I drink red, I seem to be calm. White gets me a little bit frisky.
Does it?
Red seems to, I don't know why. Just red's what I drink when I don't want to get hammered and I don't want to get drunk and I don't want to make a little bit of a mess of myself. Because for some weird reason, I just can't do it with red. I think it's just I can't drink it fast enough. It doesn't go down as fast. No. It's more of a slow drinking thing, like port. I can't scull port either.
No.
Whereas vodka or white wine.
Yeah, I feel it's like white wine is almost like cordial, especially when there's like a nice warm day. It's just cordial. Rosé, it just goes down. It
does indeed.
It just goes down. On that note, so episode 30. We are reaching the dirty 30s. And
dirty 30s indeed. My Vito is growing up. She's definitely growing up. Guys, what we're going to share with you today is a topic that's kind of dear to my heart, and it's don't take shit so seriously. The biggest kryptonite in business is when we get upset, we get stressed, we get, we don't have the warrior strength just to brush ourselves off and keep going.
Yeah.
So yes, there's going to be setbacks. Yes, there's going to be disappointments. Yes, shit's going to go wrong. At the end of the day, the bigger you grow your business, the more people you have involved in your business, the more chance there is that your business can actually have problems. What I've found is this. The people that grow bigger businesses with bigger teams, larger profitability, are the ones that can actually handle stress and pressure so well. Meaning that the stuff that that would bother the business that's below them in the grand scheme of things wouldn't even touch the side. That if someone cancels, something goes wrong, they just go, yep, okay, cool, let's reschedule. Yep. They treat it like it's nothing. And it's important because as you grow, you're going to try new things. And sometimes those new things are not going to work out. Like you could lose thousands of dollars testing a new product or, trying a marketing, launching a marketing campaign. And it could flop miserably, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to just go in there and sort of tweak it and, keep on with the show. And so my biggest gift is I want to share a couple of strategies on how I maintain state and what has me just be able to brush myself off and keep going. I'd love you to share some with our awesome listeners.
I look forward to this. This is going to be so cool.
Yeah, because to me, it's, if you want to get to the top of the mountain, you need to have the mindset of the person at the top. And, there's a few things. So to me, it's made up of a few beliefs that keep me in a great state. You know, one of them is, and look, at the end of the day, just get this, guys. Please don't judge my beliefs on if they're wrong or right in the grand scheme of truth in the universe. This is what I've worked out a long time ago. It doesn't matter if it's true or if it's wrong. To be honest with you, when it comes to like the meaning of life stuff, we don't really know what's true and what's wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know about you, Quinton, but to me, I've sort of come to a place of, if my belief empowers me, energizes me, you know, is good for me, I keep it. If it doesn't, I don't, and it doesn't matter if, you know, I don't need to find, you know, I don't need God to come down and tell me it's true or whatever, the universe. So one of my beliefs is this. One of my beliefs is that I am eternal, that my soul is literally just inside of this body, like you hop into your car, all right? The answer, this is my car.
Hanging out.
It's hanging out. This is my car, you know, for this particular life. Like, in, you know, so I suppose in my theory, we get one car for life. Whereas, you know, in our reality, we obviously can change our cars, and maybe one day we'll be able to change our cars, our bodies for science. So my theory is that my soul sits inside of this body, and, you know, it's a tool, it's a vehicle. You know, it's like this organic robot that I'm inside of, like there's a little tiny me in there, like, you know, pulling the levers, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I believe I've been around for a very long time. And I'll be around for a very long time more, meaning that I believe I've been around for millions of years. And you might say, well, Gab, that's, you know, that's kind of saying that your soul's really old. Well, you know what? I think it is. So that's just my thing.
You're an old soul.
I'm an old soul. And so whenever shit hits the fan for me, I ask myself this question. In 10,000 years, will I even remember this moment? And my answer is probably not.
Yeah.
And what it does is it just makes it, like, it takes the significance out of the event. It stops me sort of, you know, being all, like just whiny about something. And it puts a perspective on it of, God, get over yourself. At the end of the day, there are serious problems out there. So that's one of them. In 1,000,000 years from now, in 10,000 years from now, will this actually be something I even remember and reflect on later on with my mates up in, I don't know, wherever you hang out when you don't have the body? 2, does that make sense though?
Yeah, totally,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, because instantly it's like
it's a way of putting contrast to what it is you're currently experiencing, that there is bigger problems out there and more significant things out there. And the moment you blow it out to a proportion in such extreme context, it's just a way of instantly just shutting it down, and it's like goes from there all the way down to nothing. Yeah.
Yep. And so that takes me to another one, which they're all pretty similar. They're all about taking the significance away and seeing it for what it really truly is.
Yeah.
So it's taking the emotion away and looking at it more like like an observer than someone who's actually in it. So it's disassociating from the whole thing.
Yeah.
The other one is, if something happens, I think to myself, shit, it could be worse. Like, oh my God, there's actual problems on this planet. There's people that are starving, that are dying, that are missing limbs, that are missing eyesight, that, there's legitimate problems on the planet. There's someone out there probably right now, watching their wife or husband die right now. That's a friggin' problem.
Yeah.
The fact that my shipment of X didn't come on time, really.
Exactly. It's another way of putting it in proportion
that.
I remember from life coaching days where I was working with clients and they're telling me about all of these problems that they have. And when you actually put it to the problems that they think they're experiencing, if you put that into context of, let's say, people in India or people in China or third world countries, if we go to the Middle East right now, then it is really, you don't have a problem that if you can't afford X right now. I mean, these guys are fighting for survival, and that's what it really comes down to. When it is survival, that is when you really start to dig deep, and that is the core issue. If you don't have that issue right now in the country that we live in, then dude, it's all just makeup in your head, and that's how big you've blown it up into proportion.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to me, it's that kind of conditioning. It's having that conversation. The third thing, and all of it kind of intertwines. For me, it's that I talk to myself, and we all do. So don't try and tell me you don't, Clinton.
We all do. I love talking to myself.
Yeah, me too. Like, we have great conversations, Gabs and I. Anyway.
You know what? If you were to tell that to someone in the 1960s, the psychiatrist that you would have told him to, like, oh, I'd speak to myself, he would have sat there and then thought to himself, this person is showing signs of being it's like cuckoo. Yeah, exactly. But
Yet
he's telling himself that.
Yeah.
And you would have been sent to the cuckoo house because you are talking to yourself. And it's important to be able to talk to yourself, but it's also important how you talk to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And so this is the thing, guys. So if you're already okay with the fact that you talk to yourself, you've had that conversation and you've come out
Yeah.
with that information, awesome. If it's new, if you're listening to this going, oh, shit, does this give me permission to say I talk to myself too? Yes, it does. It really, truly does. However, it's the way we talk to ourselves. So to me, I'm conscious of my thinking creates my life. It creates my world. The stories I tell myself are the ones that are going to create whatever's going to happen and unfold.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what? Sometimes as human beings, this is our curse. We will choose to be right over ecological, meaning that our need for righteousness, our need to be right about something is actually what kicks us in the shoots us in the head or whatever. It knocks us down. So to me, it's this consciousness of getting that at the end of the day, whatever story you're telling, you can either be on autopilot where you're just reactive, to whatever's going on, or you can literally drive this vehicle manually, where you consciously, you create consciously, you think consciously, you look at something, and if you find yourself getting shitty, you assess it and say to yourself, well, hold on a minute. Do I really want to be in a state of shitty, aggro, upset? What's it going to do? It's just going to create more of that. As a leader, who are we? And when you talk yourself down, so it's about your inner voice being your own best friend. It's your own inner voice giving you a pep talk and saying, say, my head, it's Gabs, don't be silly. There's bigger, there's actual real problems out there in the world. It's a first world problem. Come on, let's go for a walk. Let's make ourselves a smoothie. Let's move on. So there's a few from me. What about for you? What do you tend to do?
What do I tend to do? And I've experienced this a lot lately, where especially when it comes to the vision of the agency of where are we going, and vision of my life as to where am I going, vision of my health, where is that going, income, relationships, where is that all going towards? And I like to always reflect back as to what is the big vision, the big reason why, and then specifically the goals that I'm focusing on for the year. So one of the main ones is for me is around my health, is to reduce the amount of times that I'm getting sick per year from 4 times per year average down to 0. Now, so far for this year up until now in August, I've been sick once. And so to be able to now measure and track to see how I'm progressing with being able to be more healthier.
Yep.
And it is little things. It is regular exercise, and it is having lemon water in the morning with the apple cider vinegar. It's little things that I've included into my routine that I then believe will help me increase my health to reduce it from 4 times per year down to 0. Now, another one is around my education. So I want to increase the amount of books that I'm reading per year from 10 to 25 per year. So when I go down that route, and when I'm looking at that goal that I've set, I get pumped up because I can not only just see it, I'm also tracking it along the way, knowing that I've read 12 books already, and I've got 4 more months to go. So I really got to step up my game. So it is when I start going through this that I'm actually tracking my process, my progress, whether it's through business, whether it's through income, or it is through relationships, the quality of relationships that I'm having with people. This is what's getting me amped up. It is when I get down or when I get distracted, I simply look at the progress that I've made so far and the big picture that I'm going towards. Because it's no longer, I used to set goals where it was money related, or I want to turn over X amount. But I really started to think about who do I need to become worthy of that. And in order to step it up, I have to look after my health. I have to improve my education, and I have to improve my relationships. So based on that, I focus on 3 things a year. And through that, I then all of a sudden start having more energy and more determination. And it just gets me back in tune with where I'm at to see if I'm actually making progress.
I really love that, because ultimately what you're saying is, the best way to get over shit is not to feel shit in the first place, is to maintain epic state.
Yeah.
And when you're actually like, when you're living in this way, when you're growing, I do believe our soul needs to grow. I believe that when our soul's not growing, it starts to die and we feel terrible. And when you have things in place where you're climbing the mountain of health, you're climbing the mountain of love, you're climbing the mountain of money, but you're not like running up it and you're bruised and battered, and you're actually just like enjoying the view on the way as well. Yeah, which is what you're doing. It's let's just keep going, let's keep growing, let's keep growing.
Checking back, and it's like, I've come this far already, and this is the fruits of it so far. So I can enjoy things that I've experienced up to the journey right now. And then it is simply looking at, cool, I've only got X amount to go. I've only got so more further to go. I mean, four more months, and if I can remain my health at the state that it is right now, in 4 more months, I've only been ill once this year. That's a massive improvement from 4 to 1. So the next year, I will take it from 1 to 0. And that keeps me going. And that is where I can look back and I can look down the mountain and be like, cool, that's where that happened. Next time I can just take a different way, or to learn from it and then to keep focusing on the bigger picture above.
I love that, because ultimately, when we get shitty, it's because we feel like we're being stopped in some way, shape or form, or we're being restricted or limited in some way, shape or form. And so to me, what you do, I call it the reverse gap. So most people in business focus on the gap of, where they are to where they want to be. Yeah? It's the gap of here I am and here's my goal.
Yeah.
However, what we really need to do in business is look at the reverse gap. How far have I come? Let's celebrate that. Let's actually honor that.
Yeah.
And keep climbing. So it's sort of like, when you're climbing the mountain, look down and go, wow, look how far I've come.
Yeah.
Keep going.
High-fiving yourself along the way.
Right.
And then going on.
Yep. And if you just so happen to be climbing the mountain and you trip, you fall over and you need to sit down for a little bit, you look down and go, wow, I've come so far. Like it's a different, it's the attitude is, acknowledge where you've come, really acknowledge how far you've come, and always have an excitement to keep going. But it's not, to me, it's not a I have to, I must. It's a I want to, it'll be cool to keep climbing.
Yeah.
I think that, when we put a lot of pressure on ourselves in the must, have to, keep going, that's when we get shitty, when we have setbacks.
Exactly.
When something's, It
reminds me of this video that I just saw about Alan Watts, talking about the journey of life, how life isn't actually a journey, and he compares it with music and with a dance. That when a composer puts music together, he doesn't think about the end piece that he's going to put together. He creates the music, and as the music evolves, he then reaches the end journey. And the same as a dance. When you're dancing with a partner, it's not you're thinking that I'm gonna end up at that part of the room. You're just thinking I'm gonna go.
I'm sure there's probably some people that are. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
But it is how you go through the dance and how you go through the journey that you end up wherever you end up. And as we're now talking about the mountain being at the top, it is yes to have something there, but that is not the end all. It is to know that it's the journey that's leading up to the point as to where we're going, that to enjoy that process is to oftentimes to sit back and to just reflect, and it's to show gratitude. And we've covered this in previous episodes. It's where the gratitude comes in, that maybe you've lost 5 clients in the past month, and then you look back and you go, holy crap, I still have another 15 clients. What does that mean? And it is then when you start to switch that maybe the end goal isn't the top of the mountain, but it is the journey as we're growing, as we're going up there to become a better quality or better person, the next level of ourselves.
I agree. And to me, look, it's funny because I used to always be about the outcome, never about the journey. And look, you know what? Every human being on the planet is wired slightly differently naturally. You could either be you could either be wired where you're all about the end result, and some people are wired all about the journey. And honestly, this is a new thing for me. Like, I had to re-educate myself and reprogram myself to actually be about the journey, because it was always outcome. Here's the funny thing about outcome, though. If you're constantly chasing the outcome, then you are going to get shitty in the process, because when you have setbacks, you feel like you're being blocked in reaching the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're all about, F this, I'm enjoying the journey, yes, I'm going to keep going, yes, I'm going to be my best, However, I'm actually going to enjoy the journey, and I'm going to be the best version of myself on every single step of it.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny though? Because here's the thing that, if you're outcome driven and you're getting shitty along the way, you actually find that the progress is slower. Because every single time you fall over, you curse, you throw stuff,
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Just the who you are is not the right who to actually attract the benefit of the next level anyway. And whereas if you're all about the journey, about being the best version of yourself, about growing and about staying grateful, you actually find you climb that mountain a lot quicker. So to me, it's almost like, how time goes past fast when you're having fun, but then it's really, really slow when you're talking to a boring person.
Yes.
Yeah. So to me, it's that when you're programmed to be grateful for what you already have and you're on the journey for the bliss of it, time goes fast and it's flow and it's smooth.
Yeah.
When you're programmed to get to the end because you have to, because you must, because it actually, there's just, the journey doesn't kind of go like this. It goes like all sorts of stuff happens and it actually gets worse. And the biggest tip, I think, is the tip of gratitude. So the other day I was running Business Freedom Intensive, and I do this whole chunk on being grateful. And I tell, the first thing I tell the people that come to this intensive is, you can acquire all the money and all the time in the world. However, if your state is not in a state of flow, happiness, and gratitude, you won't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because if you're still in the state of go, 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 got to chase that, you're still programmed to hunt, go, outcome, chase, climb that mountain. When you get to the top, it's like, what do you do with yourself?
Yeah. And you get burned out along the journey as well.
Of course. And so we're chatting about the fact that most people have heard be grateful every day. Most people, like by now, have actually heard the concept. Gratitude is a path to staying healthy, happy, all sorts of things. Ironically, gratitude prevents you from burning out, meaning that when you're truly, truly, truly grateful, you release a hormone called DHEA. Now, this is a hormone that actually has you, it's a bliss hormone. It's a happy, it's this happy, blissful hormone. It's actually produced by the same gland, by your adrenal glands. So if you're really grateful and feeling awesome, you're producing DHEA, which means your adrenal glands can't produce cortisol. They can't actually produce the one that drains you and that burns you out.
Yeah.
So the cool part is that the biggest tip to actually get over your shit is to stay grateful, because the more grateful you are, when something not so great happens, you don't notice it as much because you see all the stuff that's awesome. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably the greatest tip we can give you guys is spend time every day, a few times a day, being grateful, truly grateful for the fact that you can see, that you can hear, that you can taste, you can smell.
It's the little things that I find that people take for granted. It's the clean air that we have. It's the running water. And then it's the roof that you have over your head. It's, what's one of the greatest things? When I've gone to the bank last week, and I was just standing at accounts, and the lady goes like, "How are you?" And I'm going, "Freaking awesome." And there's this old man standing next to me, and it kind of grasped, he looked at me because my attitude towards it. And the lady goes, "Why are you so awesome?" And I go, "For starters, wake up in Australia. Like, we live in a country that is freaking brilliant. I mean, there's people in other countries that don't have the privileges and the rights that we have, where we can just wake up and we can walk out of the door and do what we want. For that, I'm freaking awesome. Like, I've woken up in Australia, and that gets my attitude up. It's the little things that I take where I'm like, this is what I'm grateful for the things that I don't take for granted as much.
Yes. And, from a business perspective, it really does pay to spend some time being grateful for all the different things that make up business. Being grateful for your staff. When we consciously sit there and be grateful for the fact that we have staff, because if we didn't, we'd have to do it all ourselves. Like, imagine for a second if all your staff quit right now. Everyone listening, if you've got staff, imagine if every friggin' one of them quit, bang, done, see you later, and you don't have anybody replace them right now. Imagine the stress that puts on. So be grateful for them. Here's the funny part: when we're actually grateful for our staff, when we come from that vibration, that place, we speak to them differently. We actually give them. We trust them. We give them freedom. We respect them. We pull out the best in them. We actually have them become the best versions of themselves, because we're being the best versions of ourselves we're seeing the good in them. Whereas a lot of people don't. Instead, what they do is they see what's wrong with their staff, and they're constantly nitpicking, and they start to bring out more and more and more of the worse in their staff. One of the greatest things you can do on a daily basis, peeps, is be grateful for your staff. Think about all the little things they do, the big thing they do, the fact that they do the role in the first place, but be authentically grateful and watch how they step up and improve in many ways. Be grateful for your clients. Be actually grateful for the clients that you have. Because there was a time when you first started where you didn't have them. Most business,
They forget that part.
That's it. Most business owners, can remember their first client in business, or remember the first stages of getting excited every time they got, oh, my customer, it was just like if they're a brick and mortar business, the first few clients that came in, they'd be all giddy and excited. They'd leave and they'd be like, and so this is where, to me, it's be grateful for your clients, because when you are, you're in the vibrational frequency to attract more awesome clients. Yeah. Whereas if you notice that if you look at your clients or customers and you notice not so good things about them, guess what? You start to attract more customers with not so good things.
That's what you keep on focusing on, and that's when you start taking those thinking and you start spreading it. When you start spreading the poison by talking to other people about all of the bad stuff, then you're spreading the poison for them to see it as well. So keep that to yourself and then resolve it and focus on the things that you're grateful for what they are doing. And I mean, if they're not pulling their weight, if the staff aren't performing to the expectations set, or they're not playing the same game, then you need to make that hard decision of removing them and getting someone else in that can do it better. Yes. But at the end of the day, be grateful for the people that you do have on your team, because they make your life so much easier than you would have done yourself.
Yep, exactly. And, so to me, there's three things that are really important to be grateful for in business. One is staff, one is clients, and two is how far you've already come, which is what you were speaking about before, which is the reverse gap. It's looking at how far you've already come from when you started and actually going, God, wow, and reminisce a little bit of, of the journey along the way and all the different, it's nice. I don't know, for myself, I remember when I was, when I was running workshops, the very, very first workshop I ran was in this venue. It was sort of like a dungeon. And we actually refer to it as the dungeon. A friend of mine owned this building, and one of the people that was renting it out from him had this big office space. It was a sales business. So they did sales trainings and whatnot, and they had this big sort of room at the back of their offices, and literally there was no windows there at all. There was a door, no windows. Just one big sort of boardroom type table. Yeah. But there was junk and shit there. I was just so happy to have a space, to run my workshops. Being brand new, I didn't want to invest $1,000 into running a workshop, and this was great. I got to hire the whole thing for a whole day for $100, and it was a dungeon, dark, gloomy. So happy. There I was, no projector, no high tech, all low tech, white, just a flip chart, me in the dungeon, and a few people to listen to. And do you know how excited I was? I still remember. It was just oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm living my dream. I'm running a workshop. I'm actually making a difference. I'm helping people. Yeah. Now, oh my God, there's no way in hell. You could not get me to run a workshop in the dungeon. Now, now I'm more picky about where I run workshops. It's got to have this and this and be pretty and have filtered water, and now I've got all these pretentious criteria. But you know what I mean? I think it's important for us to be a bit humble sometimes and remember our humble beginnings and be grateful. And I think that's what effectively keeps us in a state where we feel good and we just don't let little bullshit things bother us.
Yeah, and I think that the point that you're making, the little bullshit things to bother us, it is as you're growing, as the problems that you have right now, when you get to the stage of your next level, the problems that you have right now, or which you had back then, seem so insignificant. Because if you're dealing with a $50 advertising problem right now that you're losing out on, whereas later when you've grown and you're starting to spend $10,000, when you're losing that $50 or that $100, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem that big of a deal. But back then it did. So it is as you're developing yourself where you're starting to take on bigger problems, you can have bigger conversations. These other problems that you used to have seem so minute. It's getting over yourself in that way.
Yeah, massively. Just build the muscle of get over yourself.
Yeah.
Get over your shit. Because if we as business owners don't learn to do this, we don't grow. Your business can't grow beyond your ability to handle the problems that the next level has.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. The next level problems are just too big, and you won't achieve the next level of business unless you grow this muscle of being able to deal with uncertainty. And it really is, to me, it's building the muscle of being really super awesome with dealing with uncertainty, because anyone can feel great when things are certain. Anyone, any idiot, can be happy when all their ducks are lined up and everything's working great.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's who are you going to be when the shit hits the fan? Who are you going to be when there's a challenge? And it's just that. It's build that muscle, stay awesome anyway, and watch the miracles happen.
Yeah, love it. Couldn't have said it any better. On that note, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Ditto. Thank you.
It has been amazing, the wealth of knowledge that we've said in this episode for people to now transform themselves, to keep motivated, to keep empowered, to stay empowered, to keep working towards that next version of themselves, which is ultimately going to grow their business, and for them to get over the little setbacks that they have. I think this is the episode that will make a difference for a lot of our listeners that are just at that next stage where they're like, I don't know how to get beyond this. Now you do. Thank you so much, Gab.
Yeah, baby. Brush yourself off, get grateful. Think to yourself, 1,000,000 years from now, is this really even going to be something I remember? And keep going. Look at how far you've come.
Yeah.
Guys, awesome. Quinton, it's been phenomenal chatting with you, my friend. I missed chatting with you in the last week. Everybody listening, it's been awesome chatting with you too. You're the best listeners on the planet. And anything else you'd like to add? Or
Yes, totally. For everyone that is listening, go to marketingwithvino.com, join the club. It's like the show. We want to continue the conversation. It is where we get to hear from you. marketingwithvino.com, click on the big blue button, and one of our amazing legends will welcome you to the group, and we get to have a further conversation. That's
Yay!
it. Welcome.
Quinton, rock stars. See you next time. Bye.
Ciao.
You've been listening to Marketing with Vino. If you enjoyed this episode and want to access the resources discussed in this episode, go to marketingwithvino.com and select which episode you've listened to.